YouTube getting that exclusive before we even hit the record. Hit the record. This is what I do for my subscribers here. You're welcome. A little pre-show action. Let's do this thing. 3, 2, 1. What's up, guys? Welcome back to this episode of the Road to Williamson podcast. It's your boy Cam here. Good to be with you. Man, good to be back. First off, I'm going to start. This podcast is brought to you by Manscaped. Guys, look. Where is it? Boom. Crop Reviver. Look, you're supposed to spray this stuff after you work out on your junk, right? It is. It's good, for pH control. I like it. On my body. I like the way it smells. Guys, Manscaped has everything all my dudes need while you're at the gym, right? When you're at the gym, hitting it hard, you should come out stanking. If you didn't come out stanking, you didn't work hard enough. So, in your gym bag, it's very easy. Crop Reviver. Go back to work, meet up with your old lady, whatever it is you got to do. If you're one of those guys like myself and you don't shower at the gym, they got the things called the ball wipes, which is literally just kind of like a baby wipe that has their signature scent on it and a pH control. Toss a couple of them bad boys in your bag, wipe down your boys, back to work. Right? As always, guys, it's the link in the description, code ROAD20. Boom. Go over to Manscaped, show them some support from us. We're very, very grateful for their support. I'm very, very grateful for yours. All right, let's get into it. Today, what's been going down, I wrote a thought earlier that I really wanted to talk about. I've had a ton, and I feel like, sure, lions don't concern themselves with being hit by a car. What does that mean? What does that mean? You hear it all the time. Wolves don't concern themselves with the opinions of sheep. There's a million different ways you can say it. None of them are original. I concern myself way too much by how other people perceive me. It's not... I don't care what people think about me, right? And there's, I believe, a difference. How people perceive me is... Do I come off as a nice person? Do I come off as a kind person? Do I come off as someone who is genuine? Do I come off as someone with a good energy who people want to be around? That's how people perceive me, right? What people think about me is what they think about how I live my life and the things I do. I don't concern myself with that, right? I am who I am. That is what it is. Now, at the same token, I have a lot of people in my life that tell me things like, Cam, you're a great guy. But you don't necessarily show that. People wouldn't get that from looking at you or from maybe just having a very basic conversation with you. Sometimes I am very short and straight to the point. And I think in that regard, I don't think it's a bad thing necessarily, right? I don't concern myself not just with what other people think of me and my choices, and I don't concern myself with how other people would live their life if they were me. That doesn't... whatever. What I always want to be very aware of is that with everything that I do it with a kind, loving, and genuine nature, and that always comes across. With the fighting, right? I decided to go with the nickname the Mad Hatter, and I haven't really explained why anywhere except for here, I guess. So in the story of the Mad Hatter, at least the Alice in Wonderland as made by Tim Burton, that version, the Johnny Depp depiction of that character, he is the Mad Hatter when you find him. So when Alice approaches the tea party, he's already mad, right? Now you watch, he wakes up, right? He comes awake as soon as she shows up. And he begins talking. You're finally here. You're late. I've been waiting on you. Naughty. He's telling her. He's gone a little mad, waiting on her, right? To come and save the day. Then you find out why. Why is he so affected by Alice's coming? To me, my Alice is my wife. I waited in a slumber to become the man I should have always been until my Alice came in my life, which is my wife. And then now, through life and through dealing with almost 28 years of life and its struggles with addiction and military service, and you guys know all my shit, I decided I wanted to fight back, and I wanted to fight back in a physical way because I was afraid of fighting, and I was afraid of getting punched in my face, and that's not something I was okay with anymore. So I decided to take a fight on the 23rd, and my name became the Mad Hatter because of that. Not only just his association with Alice and her coming to Wonderland and coming back to Wonderland meaning so much to him, but also when Alice went to battle, right, he became the other side of him. He flipped, which was he was darker. He lost the hat. His hair was red. His eyes were kind of red. He became a warrior, a soldier, and he was fighting because the Red Queen had taken his family from him. You know, I have an ex-wife, and I fought very, very hard for my kids. I'm not calling my ex-wife the Red Queen or anything, but I'm saying the parallels are all there, and it just seemed to fit, and he's my favorite character. I literally have "We're All Mad Here" tattooed on my arm. Now, yes, I have the Cheshire Cat above it. Hatter will go on here eventually. Why do I bring all this up? People are probably thinking a lot of shit about me. People think a lot of things because I train with a woman. People think a lot of things about me. Like I said, I don't concern myself with that. What I do concern myself with is I always want to make sure that people know that the reason I'm doing this and the reason that I do all of this is because I want to be an example for you all. One, what a father will do to provide for his family. You guys don't know all of that, and you probably won't until one day I write my book. That day will come. I've made a decision on that. That day will come. But you guys won't get to know all that story, not quite yet. There's a lot of things that involve in that, but you'll get to see what a dad is willing to do for his family, what a husband's willing to do for his wife, and what a man is willing to do for himself to make sure that he means something to him, not just everybody in his life. And I think that's I think it's something we should all strive for. And I'm still striving for it. I'm not here to be up on some kind of pedestal or soapbox and act like I got my shit all figured out here, because I don't. Again, the Mad Hatter comes with the first stigma that people think of. You know, he switches mentalities, and people are like, well, isn't that schizophrenia? Hey, I've got enough mental struggles that Doc has a list of them now, you know? We all have our fucking problems. Here's one thing I wanted to tell you guys. I had someone ask, how do you break news, or how do you vent? This keeps coming up a lot. How do you vent, or how do you tell people things that are going on with you, but that way they don't come off as being a downer? Let me make sure that this is freaking right. I haven't got this right in the longest time. Okay. How do you say things that are going on with you that are bothering you, or how do you vent without coming off as a downer to those in your life? Well, that's very difficult, right? Our problems oftentimes to others come off as complaining because they're not their problems. So ultimately, they don't really care. They care about you as a person. They wish you weren't going through it. But at the end of the day, most people aren't going to give you the money to pay for your bill that you can't pay. Most people don't want to hear about your fucking boss because they don't know the context and the backstory, and they weren't there every minute while he was tapping his pen that drove you fucking crazy. That's all led up to this. So people don't understand, really, in depth, your problems, right? Not only that, they don't really care. Now that sounds rough to say because the people in your life obviously care about you. But nobody really cares about your problems, especially because they can't do anything about them. They have their own problems that they can't do shit about. They don't need to hear yours too, right? So, yes, bad things are going to happen to us, right? We're going to lose we're going to lose people in our lives. We're going to have problems in our relationships. We're going to fall on hard times financially. There's going to be shit that comes up, right? You should have one person, and you guys know what it is. I call you when I need to and just spew all this shit out, and you know that I'm not going to make any acts, or I'm not making any bold declarations here, but I'm simply talking shit just to get the fucking out. Right? I think you should have that. On the other token, here's what I don't think you should get to do. You should never call anyone and complain about your significant other, about something you have not addressed with your significant other directly and straight to the point. Not passive aggressively, not I mentioned it a couple times on my way out the door, or on a couple times as they were going to the restroom or whatever, right? I know how fucking people do. Especially in relationships. When people are trying to get shit done, or they want shit done that they don't want to do, shit gets really, really petty, and that drives me fucking crazy. There's nothing that kills me more than when I watch people say something like, hey, will you see if there's still a dirty dish on the counter? Oh, it is still there? Oh, okay, I'll get it in a minute. It's passive aggressive, right? That means that at some point somebody saw the dish, acknowledged you walked past it, and had a problem with that, and instead of saying, hey man, I just saw you walk past the dish, you put the dish there, pick the motherfucker up, put it in the thing. It drives me nuts to look at it. You do it all the fucking time. Just bop, done, over. But we can't. In today's society, we have to become so safe and so whatever, especially with, I don't think you should play safe with the relationships that are going to last the rest of your life. If you're playing kid gloves with each other about the shit that drives you nuts inside your own home, you're in real fucking trouble. Because the rest of the world is going to try their best to get on your nerves. That's a promise. Every motherfucker in line, every person driving in front of you or behind you, every person who's holding you up from getting to where you want to be, if you're a psycho like me and you suffer from the human condition of having almost no patience in today's day and age because everything's instant and everything's right now, me, it's all about my shit, my time, and where I'm going and what the fuck I'm doing, right? So if you suffer from that human condition like I do, then I urge you, slow down. Slow down. It's not so important. If you guys watch my Instagram stuff now, it's a fucking nightmare. It's a fucking nightmare. I post when I want, and I post whatever the fuck I want. I don't care. I'm not a slave to my phone anymore. I'm not a slave to my show anymore. I'm not doing things anymore because I have to, and they have to be perfect. Dude, this is my show. I love this show. And I was starting to really not fucking love this show. I was starting to really get tired of this show because it became another 9-to-5 fucking job that stopped being creative and became more business, and it got on my fucking nerves for a while. So you guys have seen a little bit of inconsistency with it, but it's coming back. We're coming back, and we're coming back original style where it's just your boy and we're talking. Yeah, we're going to have some ads still, and yes, the studio's improved, and things are going to continue to improve. We're not going to stop here just because we're taking it back, but I'm fed up trying to make something. I'm fed up trying to make this show something that it was never supposed to be anyway, which is like a TV talk show. It wasn't supposed to be that. This was always started as just a place for me to get my shit out. I mean, it started as the Ride and Vibe podcast, which was literally me ranting in my car. Those are still up on YouTube, I think. Yeah, they're still up there. I should go back and give some of those a listen. This is from a different time in life, for sure. Here's another thing. I want to really talk to my people who are pursuing social media and my people who want to make something of themselves, and they claim that they want to do that on social media, right? Social media is not a career, right? Let me say that one more time. Social media, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, What's the new one everyone's on? TikTok, Snapchat. That's not a career, right? What is a career is marketing, advertising, sales, right? What is marketing, advertising, and sales? Now, this is a business lesson that I'm giving to you motherfuckers for free, okay? So, call Gary Vee, because you got a new value giver on the fucking internet here, okay? What is marketing? Sales, marketing, advertising is what? Supply, demand. 3 turns down to 2, right? Advertising, marketing, get it? Fucking supply, demand. So, supply, demand break down to 1, which is the customer. Now I'm just kind of making this up as I go. The person says, hey, I have an issue, right? I have a problem, I have a void in my life, I need it fixed. Okay, companies come out and say, I'll make this many, so therefore you want it so bad, you'll pay this much reasonably in a reasonable market for it. I'll make this many at this much, you'll be happy. Right? I'll be happy. I provided it for you, I made enough money, you're happy, you got what you wanted. Then, the rest of it comes. Hey, this person likes it, we think everyone should learn to love it. Perfect. We think everyone should learn to love it. Why? Well, because we made a good amount of money off that. I would like to make more money off that. I'm going to stop using my hands. I would like to make more money off that. So, instead of just Tim from down the street watching it, how can I get Bob from down the street to want this too? Bob doesn't have the same problem Jim had. Well, we can make Bob think he's gonna have the problem, or we can make him believe that because Jim had the problem, that's inevitable that Bob will then have it at some point. So let's just sell him this now to prevent the problem, or we'll make a product that could prevent problem A in the beginning. So now we're creating problems because somebody else had one. So now we're being proactive. We're being sold that you're being proactive. You're protecting your family. You're buying all these insurances and these policies and these things for a day that may never come. That is marketing, advertising, sales poorly. When people say they want to do social media as a career, what they really mean is they want to be a person of influence to where people will pay them money to advertise their products and their brands to the audience that watches them. Here's the problem with today's 2019 social media marketers. The brands and the products you promote don't make you popular. If you're promoting a lot of brands to no one, you're an asshole. If you're promoting brands that genuinely fit in your life to an audience that is using them, fine. What I will never understand, never, and I say it with such passion because I fucking hate it, I will never understand when people talk about how they're going to be their own boss, live their dreams, chase their goals, and they're an exact cookie cutter of all the people they watch. They're no fucking different at all. They have no original style, no flair, no nothing different. It's, bro, you're that. And then they want to stack now on top of that, and here's where I'm going to get upset, mental health. It's not enough now to be the next Gary Vee or the next Andy Frisella or the next fucking whoever, Steve Cook or whatever. Christian Guzman's always the big one. Now you have to be a little bit of the me and the other people that talk about, I'm not the only people that constantly talk about mental health struggles. But now mental health is cool. Now mental health is a brand. Now PTSD, anxiety, depression, that's like a cool t-shirt you get to put on and walk around and go, oh, you got anxiety? I got anxiety. Yeah, man, I get nervous in crowds. Let's act weird when we go out in public. Then people will think we have anxiety. Motherfuckers, that ain't how it works. It's not how it fucking works. And like, I see motherfuckers on Instagram. Where's my shit? Where's my shit? Here. Sitting on Instagram. The problem used to be this. YouTube, you're getting the real deal here, right? The problem used to be this. Half of an ass cheek out with this. Talking about life is great, living in the sun, chase your dreams, it'll be fun. Whatever the fuck they say. It went from that to now. We got bitches drinking the coffee with a product here. Talk about some days I get sad, and on those days I don't go outside because it makes me... Bitch, that's not what we're talking. That's not mental health. You're taking pictures of fucking products talking about shit because you think it's cool. You know what the biggest endorsement I've ever wanted and I've never gotten? BetterHelp.com. Free fucking endorsement. BetterHelp.com, because these motherfuckers, it's an app that you can get on there, scroll, and talk to a fucking therapist the same way you would scroll through Instagram right now. Same way you would watch me talk, you could get on an app, BetterHelp.com, I have no promo code for it. Get on there and you could talk to a fucking therapist. That's real, man. That's mental health. Not whatever. So, let me bring it back. Someone asked me, how can I talk about stuff without being considered a downer? First off, don't talk about your fucking problems all the time. That's the thing. No one wants to be around somebody who's always got bad shit going on. That's just a fact. No one wants to be around Eeyore. Eeyore, yeah, they kept him around, but no one wants, don't be Eeyore. Number one. Number two, before you bring it to anyone's attention, ask yourself, why am I bringing it to this person? For what reason does this person need to know about it? Are they going to be able to help me? Or is it just simply, I care about this person, they make me feel better, and if by getting this off my chest to this person, I will feel better? Okay, if that's the case, one, ask the person if they're in a state that they're able to take that on right now. Most people are so selfish that we just unload our problems onto people without ever asking. We say, hey, how are you? Good. How are you? Fine. Good. Alright, cool. But we don't ask, like, we don't really wait to get into each other's backstory. Most of the time is, hey, what's going on with you? Oh, well, and you go off. Instead of going, man, it's been a crazy day. How's yours? Because mine's been wild, and I don't want to put anything else on you. We don't have 5 seconds to have that extra part of a conversation to check in with each other before we just dump each other's garbage onto each other. And then what happens, in my opinion, what happens, we all go to these jobs that most of us hate. We sit there unfulfilled in a room full of other people who are unfulfilled. So what do? We tell about all of our shit. My husband does this, my wife does that, my kids do this, the boss does that. You're bitching all the time, constantly bitching. So 9 hours a day, fucking 5 days a week of what's happening? That just becomes who the fuck you are. So then, outside of those 9 hours a day, now you pick up this nasty son of a bitch, and you start at people who you just saw. Now you're continuing it for nothing. And then now you've told so much of your own shit, now you got nothing left to talk about, or it's just another bad thing that's happened to you. And look, you went down such a negative spiral and then wonder why you're sitting in a negative spot in life, having nothing but shit to complain about. If you would stop focusing on all the shit that you were complaining about and focus on a couple things that were good, or on a couple things that you could do to make any of those situations you're complaining about better, you wouldn't complain near as much. And then your life would get extremely better. But no, We would rather sit around, my life is hard. I have anxiety, I have depression, I have PTSD, me too, it sucks. I don't go out, I don't do this, I don't do... No, man, no, fucking no. From someone. Anxiety, PTSD, depression. No, fucking no. If movie theaters ain't your thing, go see a fucking movie. Make it 10 minutes into the movie. I don't care. Go see a movie. Make yourself uncomfortable. Do shit you don't want to do. Veterans, I'm talking to you. Do shit you don't want to do. Just like the first time you went to basic. Remember all those fears, and I don't want to hear shit about how you weren't afraid to go to basic. Don't fucking entertain me. I don't need a new story to hear, okay? It's just like when we all went to basic and we were terrified because of the unknown. We didn't know what the fuck was going to happen, right? Through whatever your experience, whether it be a combat one or not, whatever it is your story is that has caused you to have these issues, veterans and non-veterans, to have anxiety, depression, whatever the issue is, you don't get to just walk around. Anxiety and depression and PTSD is becoming like the hot topic of the early 2000s. Okay? Let me explain. Stay with me. All the kids in high school that wanted attention when I went to school. This may be a Midwest thing. Y'all might tell me my high school was fucked up and the people I ran with were fucked up, and I'm willing to accept that. The Midwest the high school that I grew up in, the cool thing was, for the longest time, people wore these big old black pants with all these chains on them and all this. It was during Simple Plan, Good Charlotte. Hot Topic was a big thing. Spencer's was a big thing. It was new because this new culture of dark and weird had hit the scene. And it felt good to us as 90s babies because essentially we were, as men, we were men growing up without fathers because our fathers had been treated so poorly by their dads. Most of them were either Vietnam vets or factory workers or something, just trying to get by. They were coming out of 2 world wars, and fucking parents, you know, their parents were World War I, World War II, dude. Shit was fucking crazy back then. So like we as 90s kids are growing up, a lot of us without dads and with moms who are single moms working multiple jobs who just weren't around a lot. But we heard stories about what motherhood and fatherhood was supposed to look like from our grandparents who had 4 kids by the time they were 20 and fucking stayed married for 80 years. Well, it doesn't work like that anymore. So fucking, you know, when I was a 90s kid, there was a lot of darkness and, you know, pain and emotional, and it became cool if you had scars on your wrist to cut your wrist. I mean, black, gothic, dark became cool, and it took over. And it's all people talked about was their suffering and what made them emo or what made... Fucking spare me. But now that's the new thing. That's that new thing. Now we walk around... There used to be a brand to write love on our arms. It was a charity that was started for people who used to do self-harm to themselves and cut themselves for the experience almost as if they would commit suicide. For people who really used to commit self-harm, you know that it wasn't an attempt to really see the blood run from your body. It wasn't really the pain. It was... You knew that the artery was right there, and you knew that by slicing it, you knew you were that close, and you could have done that. And that thrill was enough to keep you alive for a second, to make you want to live another second. That's why people did it. Not because you could go to Hot Topic and cover your arms with wristbands. That's just what people did to cover it, who were actually hurting, who were actually suffering, which is why the culture was really created behind the brain. Now, what happens is, you watch, people go, oh, well, kids. They're just being kids. They'll grow out of it. That dark, weird shit that they do. Well, yeah, they do grow out of it. They grow out of the bands and they grow out of the Rob Zombie movies. But then they become parents who, like me, tat themselves up with Jack Skellington and all kinds of shit because dark, depression, that's my shit. I'm comfortable there. I'm cool in darkness. I've always have been. Just like most of you have always been. We've been fine in depression and anxiety and being comfortable, and we stay where it's safe because I control my surroundings and situational awareness and all this other shit. We give ourselves reasons to not do the things that make us uncomfortable. Stop using mental health as the hot topic of this generation and do something about the mental struggles you have. There's nothing that you have in front of you that is such a debilitating life sentence that you're stuck forever. There's nothing that you're consciously able to process in your brain that you're listening to this right now. Any problem that you have, that you cannot do something to make it better. Anything to make it better. Right? I challenge you to find something. I challenge you to find something. With that, guys, that's going to be this portion of the episode. We're going to go ahead and clap. MMA Breakdown show. Last night was, well, let's talk about the Poirier-Khabib fight. It was UFC 242. Khabib versus Dustin Poirier. They fought in Abu Dhabi. Here's the thing, great card. Paul Felder in the co-main fought Edson Barboza. It was a very, very, very close fight. I think Paul Felder won as he did in the decision. I think it was a good call. Paul Felder deserved the win. It was a tough fight on both guys, but I just think Paul's damage was better. I think Paul showed more aggression and showed more octagon control, personally. I agree with the decision. Main event, Dustin Poirier, Khabib Nurmagomedov. Good fight. Dustin started strong. Looked like he threw a couple hands. He kind of looked comfortable after being taken down the first time. Just kind of put his back to the cage and waited it out. Knew that realistically Khabib wasn't going to submit him, especially if he had his back to the cage. He couldn't take his back. He did this for, what, two and a half rounds? I think it was early in the third. Early in the third, spoiler alert, Dustin Poirier gets submitted by rear naked choke by Khabib Nurmagomedov, advancing him to 28-0, which is awesome for Khabib. I've never been a huge Khabib fan, just because personally I've never been a big fan of him. But it's just his style is not mine. Now, after the fight, he told Dustin, hey man, you're the most honorable fighter to me and my family. Let's swap shirts. I'll sell your shirt. Whatever money that makes, I'll give it to your charity. You sell my shirt. Whatever money it gives, give it to your charity. That gave a lot. That's a champion to me. I will be a fan of Khabib's from this point forward. Now, with that, Dustin Poirier falls. Loses the belt, right? It was an interim belt, so it technically had half a belt. They try to unify. Khabib walks away with the belt. Okay, Dustin Poirier. What happened? So, Dustin Poirier, I believe, let's wait because no one really knew. This weekend comes up. This weekend, UFC Vancouver happens yesterday. Let me check the camera one more time. We're good. Good. Okay, UFC Vancouver this weekend. Donald Cowboy Cerrone versus Justin Gaethje. So, the lightweight division hangs in the wings. Dustin Poirier falls. Khabib advances. Everyone pretty much knows Khabib's going to fight Tony Ferguson next. As long as Tony Ferguson takes the fight, he keeps being kind of weird. And I guess they're waiting. Rumor has it that it's all done. They're waiting on Tony's people. Something like that. So, we'll see. That fight's pretty much done. That's going to happen. Then you have, this weekend, Cowboy Cerrone versus Justin Gaethje. Cowboy Cerrone being number 4, Justin Gaethje being number 5. Okay, spoiler alert, Justin Gaethje knocked Cowboy out in the first fucking round. Knocked him out in what some are calling an arguable decision, early stoppage. I don't think it was an early stoppage. Cowboy knew he was fucked. So, that leads for Justin Gaethje beat number 4. So Gaethje is either going to have, but Gaethje has already lost to Poirier. So either Gaethje and Poirier are going to fight, Gaethje and Conor are going to fight. Oh boy. Then you got Poirier, Cowboy. Could always go. Conor, Poirier, again. Conor Poirier 2. See, there's too many ifs. There's too many ifs right now. Khabib and Tony have got to fight. I think Poirier and Cowboy fight next. And I hope to see that one maybe in Madison Square Garden. November 2nd. That might be a little quick for Dustin. I would like to see Gaethje Conor on the November 2nd card. That'd be a good one. I would like to see Conor back in the octagon, and I would like to see Conor McGregor win again. I would like to see Donald Cerrone win again. The lightweight division is tough. It's tough. Then you got November 2nd. Jorge or George Masvidal, whatever you call him, versus Stockton's own Nate Diaz. Westside Stockton's own motherfuckers. Nate Diaz. I'm going with Nate Diaz. I think that Jorge Masvidal's caught this little flash here with the Ben Askren thing. I'm not saying that Jorge Masvidal's not a dog. I'm not saying that at all. He's a dog. Nate is a dog with a pit bull puppy with him. You know what I'm saying? Nate is about that life and some. Nate has the skill behind it. Jorge's got the mouth on him. Jorge has had some impressive fights. He just had... I'm not impressed by the Ben Askren thing. Askren's a good wrestler, but I personally think he has no business in the UFC, which is why you haven't really seen him outside of these little quick highlight whatevers. In these little shows that he puts on. He's like a mascot more than anything. Yeah, I'm not a big fan. I think everyone needs to come to the conclusion that the UFC is about to change drastically. All the stars that we know as longtime fans is about to be gone, right? Rogan, he's on his way out the door as far as being our commentator. Bruce Buffer is getting older as far as being our announcer. Dana White at some point is going to back out. Our Forrest Griffins, Chuck Liddells, Tito Ortiz, Rampage Jacksons, these guys are gone. The old school guys, Ken Shamrock, they've been gone. All those guys. Now even our Cowboys and our, Connors and Nate Diaz, Nick Diaz, now they're starting to kind of go away or slow down. Which is great for guys like me who are coming up in the game and coming up in the circuit and who are still young. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. The lightweight division right now is stacked. Again, Poirier's not young. Gaethje's not young really in the game. Cowboy's not young in the game. Tony, nope. Khabib, nope. Conor, nope. I mean, you got a lot of guys that are going to be out at the 145, 155-ish divisions. And then whenever 165 opens, I think that's going to be even bigger and more massive. That'll be where all the killers go. That'll be where all the real big fights happen, is at 165. It's a more neutral weight for the average man's body frame. 160, 165, and then your big dudes will be 175, and then you obviously have your real big dudes, then you have your small guys. I think, 165, that would be legit. Alright guys, that's going to be it. The next fight I'm super interested in is the November 2nd one. And then you got UFC 244, or 243, which I'm not super, I don't care. It's not that it's a good fight. I'm just not a big Israel Adesanya fan. He's fighting Robert Whittaker. I hope Whittaker dusts the floor with him personally. I just want Adesanya to shut the fuck up. Then you got November 2nd, Nate Diaz and Jorge Masvidal. I'm taking Nate Diaz. And with that, guys, I'm putting my bets in with MyBookie.ag. Guys, football is back. UFC events for days. They seriously have a UFC event almost every single weekend. And I am putting my picks in for Nate Diaz. So I'm going to put in a bet straight up that Nate Diaz will win. Then I'm going to put a bet that he submits Jorge Masvidal, let's say in the second round. He might go 3 unless Jorge does something to hurt him where he knows he has to put him away, which I think Jorge could do. I'm saying Nate Diaz by submission, round number 2. I don't know who's going to be on the co-main. We'll talk about that one more next week. We got some time. Guys, MyBookie.ag, use the code REDEMPTION. If that, use the link in the below, then it'll fill it all out for you. Guys, whatever you deposit, they're matching that 50% right now. You can put it on the fights, put it on football, put it on basketball. Whatever you watch, they got a sport for it. If you like shows, reality TV, politics, you can bet on all that. Guys, go over to MyBookie. It's very, very easy. If you pay and you play and then you win, you get paid, guys. It's too easy. I want to give a thank to all my sponsors. Thank you to all my sponsors who are sponsoring me for the fight. NutriFit Labs. Guys, their stuff is about to be, speaking of the UFC, Nate the Train, who you guys have seen on the show, he is in the UFC now, and he is also sponsored. He's a part of the NutriFit team. We're working with NutriFit to get that seal where it says it's clean, drug-free, no contaminated substance. That way USADA recognizes it, and Nate can continue to use that. So that's exciting for them, as well as they've got new products coming out all the time. You can go over to NutriFit Labs and use code REDEMPTION. It's too easy with it. Guys, Manscaped, shout out again. Go over there, Road 20. Guys, Tasty Clean is my shit. I don't think I have one in here. I just posted up on them. Guys, if you're not following me on Instagram, at Cam Williamson Official, YouTube, Cam Williamson Official, easy enough. And then as far as the sponsored for the fights, Emerald City CBD, thank you so much. Guys, Smoker's Choice here in Clarksville, that's where I get all my wraps and all that kind of stuff. BC Limited, we want to thank them so much. Heather and Brian, you guys are the best. Team Room Designs LLC, thank you. You guys are, it means a lot that you guys are helping us out. And then, as always, just thank you to all my coaches, Jen, Donnie, everyone who helps me out. I just hired a new coach, Kelvin, over at American Pride. He helped out some of the Olympic guys, I think. So I'm really excited for that. Got to meet the Waco boxing team people. That was cool, but that'll be for another episode. Maybe I'll do a midweek episode this week. Switch it up on you guys. What do you think? Send me a message at Cam Williamson Official. We out.